Act. I'm in Awesome Calls today. I think this morning I was in 19 other rooms, copying my list. But today, right now, this moment, I'm in Act. So, well, what a day. Okay, so let's just start just quickly so I can answer a bunch of questions. Okay, yesterday after hours, Myrna came out and said, we have, we'll put Spy here, not Spy you, Spy and Myrna. Okay, so yesterday, and let's be accurate. Okay, it's a 2-day. Okay, in Myrna, 2-day, and right here. Okay, so let's talk about what happened. Okay, I'm going to turn the TV off because I'm going to do this for 30 minutes, and then AJ's done. For the record, I'm down by a couple thousand, and I'll explain why. I can't even turn off my TV. Yeah, it won't even let me turn it off. Yeah, it won't let me turn it off. I'm stuck. How about, can I turn it down? Okay. Okay. Now, yesterday, Myrna came out and said, our vaccine is looking good. That's the bottom line. Now, last time they did this, time to get a new TV. No, I like it. I just think it's the cable box. Whatever. I don't know. And so this happened about, as you recall, about 3-4 months ago. Okay. And 2 months ago, whatever it was. And then all of a sudden, Myrna pulled this hat out of the trick and then took $500 million or $1 billion on an offering. And in my world, this is just my world as a personal day trader, one of the best in the world. The way I view this COVID-19 is horrific. It's sad. It's depressing to watch people get it, and after they survive, it's a hardship to deal with. Some people get it twice. It is no fun. It's no fun, and it's important that you stay safe. If you choose to wear a mask, great. If you choose not to, that's your prerogative. For me, I just keep to myself. I do my hiking 2 miles every day, and I'm just away from people. I work from home, which is the most beautiful thing in the world. So the longest distance I have to go to is between my master bedroom and my office, which could be like a mile away. But anyway, I love, I just work at home. I swim, and yada yada yada. So until this is over, I have not gone to a restaurant since March 8th, since my birthday. I don't go out. I, I have a staff that does my grocery shopping. I have people wash my car, and I haven't driven my car in 3 months. So it's really, we're all looking for that cure. Well, we want that vaccine so bad that any kind of positive, it just shoots the market up. And how does it shoot it up? Well, you got the cruise lines going, oh my gosh, if this thing happens, oh my goodness, we're gonna back to cruising again. Airlines, especially airlines. Oh my goodness, everything is. Oh, we can get back to full operation. This is such great news, and it's either Bib, Regeneron, or Myrna, and then of course you got the small cap ones, and those ones at $5 and $4 stocks that run to 10, 12, 15, 20. They make me laugh because all they're doing is just, they can issue a statement saying. And we've been seeing a lot of them. They could just issue a statement going, hey, people, it looks like our kit's going to look good. I mean, we were going through the kits. Everybody had a kit, revised masks, so their stocks would push. And then it became, okay, the kits are done. So let's go now to, we're working on a summary of a test that could, and as long as you tag COVID-19, your stock was going to run. You could be selling hamburgers. You could be a restaurant joint, and as long as you put in the word, what we're also looking into COVID-19, your stock would run. mean, it's like Cheesecake Factory. We're not going to pay rent for like 5 months, but hey, we're working on the COVID-19 somehow, and also their stock would pop. Okay, and then of course us as day traders, the smart ones, will go in there and just short the stock. We see through the bad. We see through it, the laughter so far, because it's not. They're not really contributing anything. It's just to push their stock and get notoriety. Obviously Myrna looks like the one that's really, really getting close. I would say to yesterday's uh, messages, we're getting close, and that's good, but it's still not the vaccine. So the market ran after hours yesterday off of that, which meant everything was pretty much gapping up, but not everything. The Netflixes, the shops, the TDDs, the actual, like the technical stocks, a lot of them came down because you have to remember, it's very important you remember something. If we go back to normalcy, less people will use the technical side of it. Everybody wants to get back out in the open. Nobody wants to stay home and use their computers anymore. Just get me out in the open, put me on a patio, and give me a chug of beer, and let's just live. People want that so bad. They're not thinking, "Oh, I can't wait for my Netflix series to come up." I mean, nobody cares. You're not going to care. So those stocks tend to get hit. Facebook's going to get hit. Apple's going to get hit. Not hit hard, but just get hit. Nvidia's going to gap down. So, but what goes up? Airlines, cruise lines, restaurants, uh, malls, mall owners, REITs, stuff like that. And so for me as a trader, I'm always happy to hear that we're getting closer to vaccine. But in reality, unless the vaccine is FDA approved and we can start taking shots, I can't get excited. I can't. I have to think. People don't pay me to think on emotion. They pay me to think like a businessman, like an analyst. That's what I get paid for. I have over 400 people in the room, and they're not paying me for a personal opinion. They're telling me, what do you see as an analyst? What do you see? How do you take this news? What do you do with it, AJ? I short it. I'm sorry. How about Myrna? What would you do? I short it. I'm sorry. I don't buy into hype. I'm one of these traders over the years that have learned I don't buy hype. I just don't. I'm just relaxed. I'm calm. I read. I study. I read through things, articles. I read everything. Then I come back with a solution. This is how the market's going to open. And so today, my idea was we were gapping up, on the SPY level at 500, and my instinct was to short the market. And I felt that SPY would come down. I felt a lot of stocks would come down. And most important, I felt Myrna was going to come down. Um, so the way I set up today was just based off of those ideas. Myrna, once again, hope. I'm not knocking it, but I'm also being its reality. It's just hope. So, and when I got in the chat room, the first thing I said, traders, I do think the market will end up turning red or coming close to it. I think this gap up will sell off. We already had a decent yesterday. I think this will just kind of, you know, once the dust settles, Myrna should come down to $80 and under. Now you got to understand, Myrna hit 94 or $90 after hours, 90, 91, and my thought process was short the stock to 80. And I felt the stock would settle between 80 and 82 today. And if you can see, I was 100% correct. And here's today. Stock settled between 80 and 82, and that's where it's trading right now. Now, again, I'm a professional day trader. I'm not an emotional trader. I'm not, I don't buy stuff on hype, and this is really important because when you're trading with me in this room, as much as what you want to believe yourself, because maybe you're kind of young into trading, you've been trading for a year, 2 years, 5 years, 3 years, you're still learning, how to deal with headlines, and headlines really run our market. They really do, from presidencies to COVIDs to war, um, you know, disasters, things like that. I mean, you have to be able to, just always remain calm, no matter what's going on. Remain calm, just chill, read it, and then interpret it as an analyst, you know, and you know make sure that you let your people know this is how I view today. So don't get all excited and start loading up, because what I'm trying to do is prevent you from losing money. That's the most important thing. I don't want you to lose money. And so Murder to me was a short. So I called for a pop at the open and then a short. Okay. Um, there was another interesting stock today, and then I figured SPY would sell off and pull, and I was correct on that. And we almost turned red. I think we were at 20 points on the upside from 500. So this pull, I was 100% correct. And this is what you're paying for. Sound, quality, analyst decision making. What is the market going to do? Now, am I probably one of the rarest ones, guys, that will do that in an open chat room? Most likely. Most likely. And if this stock, and if this SPY went around to 330, it would have shocked me, because then it would have got too ridiculous. It's like, okay, so you're buying on hope, and that would be disastrous in my opinion, because if for any reason, you know, the vaccine doesn't work or Murder comes back with any kind of negative news, that the market will crash. And if you're stuck in a long position, you're done. So that was my. So then it became, okay, what are we going to trade today? All right. Well, JRJC was a great. Um, JRJC is a formal runner, and so we had to make this our number one pick because it was gapping up 20 points in pre-market. Now, do I agree with it on the news? Briefing.com didn't even have this listed anywhere. Did you realize that? You go to briefing, there's not one iota in the morning about this stock whatsoever. Naran, awesome, JJ. It helped us a lot. Thank you, Naran. I appreciate you very much. And so this is a former runner. What is a former runner? Just a basic. A former runner is a stock that will pop on pretty much anything. This was 10 years ago I played this thing. 3 years ago, it had some similar news that ran to 41. And when you get a former runner like a JRJC, you have to let the stock get in there, and it has the potential. It could have ran to 40 today. But when you look at the chart, how it was developing this morning, you can kind of see it was getting tired. And it was getting a little exhausted. Less buying, more selling. You could see just all the selling going on. I felt the stock would cap off around $32. I was kind of eyeballing it right around here and here. You see this candlestick from about December, I think a year, 2 years ago. I was eyeballing this, and I'm thinking, you know what? I'm sorry. I think this is your topping. So I made the stock. I thought, well, 32 to 34, and then be done with it and short it. When you read the headline, to me, it was just hyped. And the headline was, if you read it with me, JRJC announces Newswire partnership agreement with Dow Jones. That's wonderful. But what you didn't read, well, where's the money? Where's the money? How much is this going to be to your company? What's the value? Is it assertive to your company? It's not here. It's just, hey, we're announcing Newswire partnership agreement with Dow Jones. That's great, but where's the money? So anytime you deal with a former runner, you get all the newbies and the algos, and everyone's pushing the stock. But the short sellers are the ones that are really going to make the money. They're just adding their positions, because when you read through the news, the stock's true value is, in my opinion, as a professional day trader, the opinion of that stock on a number one pick is worth $14 to $16. It's about $15. And that's how I value the stock. I gave it, 7-8%. I gave you 100% return, but I'm not. That's it. The stock is going to pop, top off for quick money, and it'll be just an all-day fader. Once it snaps 20, you go to 16, and then you go to $15. You don't believe me? Okay. Hopefully today you will. Here's the pop. On the long side, I was looking at a 30. It pre-market it already had hit, popped, kind of play was over on the long side. But once it started to right here was the topping. This is what you call topping. It wasn't breaking out anymore. And this was your short, and this lower low right there, that's your short. You set your stops at 29, and you short the stock. And it was just, to me, it was just going to be an all-day fader to $15. And as you can see, it hit $15. Now, how do I know this? How do I know? It always comes down every day. How do you know? Because I don't, I'm past hype. I'm past, oh my goodness. I'm past emotion. I am, what is the value, AJ? And why? There's no money. I don't see any money. I don't know what what's the value of this? How much it's going to add it to its books? And I have to think like that if I would have said, traders, buy at 30, it's going to go to 40, watch, and then it just pulled and hit 15, how stupid would I look? And if I was a newbie trading less than 10 years, probably would have said that. What's a former runner? Could go to 41 right here. Look, could go 33, then 40. For me, it was just hit 30, pop 1 or 2 points, top it off, and then short the stock to 15. You're done. All right, so we also had a great, now, I always try to get done in the first 2 minutes of the open. First 10 minutes, I like to get done. And I love doing it live. I love giving my entry. I love, you can hear me go in, I'm long, and then bam, you'll hear me. Okay, traders, I'm getting out. I get out, I see it settle, and this is how much I made. I closed out at this position, and I post it. And I'm so excited because then I spend the remaining day just helping all of you, because not everyone's going to hit the same stock, But there was a stock today, and there's two types of stocks. Actually, there's 3 types of stocks that are pretty much hands down solid winners. Okay, so all right, I'm going to write them down as I'm talking to you. There's offering, there's private placement, and there's block trade. I cannot express enough, and I hope you write these down. Offering, now not every offering's going to do the magic. It's the particular ones that I pay attention to. And I don't put offerings in, and they happen every day. But there are some that I'll look at and go, this is money. Okay? Private placement. Okay, first of all, what is an offering? Well, offering is where, like a JRJC, they give you the news, they pop the stock with all this volume. Let's say they do, 60 million shares. They could go in there and take 10, 15 at 19 a share, put $200 million in the bank, and they get the last. It's like going to getting a bank loan without the loan. Okay? So, and they use that money to continue operation, pay their CEOs, pay other employees, and they'll list it. We are taking this much money out to continue our company's operations. That's what an ATM is for. Okay? We call them an ATM in our business. All right? A block trade. What is a block trade? All right? We already know what an offering is. All right, and the stock could be trading at $25, $30, and all of a sudden they could be doing an offering at 20. So if you understand how stocks work, that could be a discounted buy. Now, if JRJC comes out with an offering tomorrow, I'm not going to touch the stock, because to me this is just a continuation fade. They'll get their money and then it'll fade off. The noise will calm down, and then we'll wait for their earnings. I don't buy those kind of stocks on offerings. Never have, never will. I don't buy a hyped FDA one and next day it's a $5 stock, then goes to 30, and then it sells off, and then you take an offering. I don't buy those. I'm looking for the stocks that just trade 5, 10 days straight, 20 days, certain level. Then an offering comes in, it's discounted, bam, I'm nailing that. Private placement. Private placement is where, let's say JRJC says, let's say Morgan Stanley says, okay, I want to buy, we want to invest in your company. So we're gonna instead of doing the offering and putting it out there, we're gonna just take the whole offering. We'll give you 6 million at the offering. So they're taking it privately. They're not going to put it out in the open market and sell it off. They're just going to go, here's 10 million shares at 19. There you go. You're set. And then the stock goes up, voila. If they upgrade the stock and analysts run it to 30, guess what? Morgan Stanley makes that difference on their investment. And then there's a block trade. What is a block trade? It's pretty similar to a private placement, but a block trade is where an investor will come in It could be any investors or a particular group that are working together, and they'll say, "Listen, we like your stock. You know, we love." Let's just say, let's take a Goldman Sachs for instance. Okay, I know it's this expensive stock, but here's or a let's do another one. Win. So let's just say a Warren Buffett comes in or a Carl Icahn comes in and they go, we really see your company continue to climb and move up, and we see potential. So what they'll do is they're not like an ordinary, obviously traders, and they're usually big in bulk. They'll buy 10, 2 million, 3 million, 6 million shares. They're not like you and I buying 500, 600, 1,000 shares. These guys they're players. So, and they're not going to pay what you and I pay on an open market. They're not going to do that, and they never will. So let's just say Warren Buffett says, I want to buy 10 million shares of Goldman Sachs at and the market is today at 216, and I want to buy, I'll give you 200 or 190 at 10 million. And so Goldman Sachs CEO will look at that, sign off on it, and all of a sudden you'll just get it'll be called a block trade. And so Warren comes in, he buys 10 million shares at 200, and all of a sudden you'll get just a massive dump, just a straight pull. It's just one candle pull, and then it'll bottom out. It'll look like something, just a massive pull, and then it'll start to trickle up. Those on block trades are discount. It's basically a discount stock. So if from a day trader standpoint, so if Goldman's trading at 216, 218, but a block trade comes in at 210 or 200, you're getting an extra 16 points to the downside. You want that stock, okay? Because nothing, Goldman Sachs didn't do anything. It wasn't a downgrade. It wasn't something they did bad on their books. It wasn't. It was just simply this this billionaire came in. I want your stock. I'm not going to pay what everyone else is paying. I want a discount. It got okayed by Goldman Sachs. They allowed it, and then you see it at 200, and the stock was at 220, 230. You buy that stock because now think outside the box. If Warren bought it at 200 and the stock is trading at 218 the night before, all right, don't you want to buy it with Warren? I mean, at a discount, get it as close as Warren got, right? And so what happens is everyone's buying it, and then it'll create a squeeze, and then you'll just get this massive pop at the open. Okay. Now let's go back to an offering. So again, there's three basic. If you're ever first time day trader, never traded in your life, and you want the most guaranteed paycheck in the world, like you need that money, or you want to feel for one day, I can be a trader. Give me a great trade. Okay. That's where, for me, private placement, block trade, or offerings come in. All right. So when I put a list together, I am looking, number one, I'm looking at, is there any offerings, block trades, or private placement? Okay. Those things I'm looking at. So on my list, when you come in, you're going GRGC, ZYXY offering. Now, the key to an offering is size. So write that down. Size. There's a lot of offerings out there, but if you have a small size, and what is a small size considered? Well, if a stock trades a million, five shares a day, okay, so let me ask you this. Here's a lesson, okay? Here's Win trading. This is Win. So let's take a look how many shares Win traded today. All right, so we go back. Let's just look at the candle today. Come back, and they traded 6 million shares. Yesterday, they traded 5 million shares. The day before, they traded 16 million shares. So here's my question. If Win does an offering of 3 million shares at 84, will that even hurt the stock? Would it make the stock move downward sell off. No. Look at the average that they're trading. I mean, 6 million, 16 million, 5 million, 4 million. So they average what, 5, 8 million a day? So a quick 3 million, it's just going to go, and it's like almost a block trade. It'll pull. And if you're lucky enough and they got it, let's say at 82, I would be a buyer on that. You see what my point is? It's going to get filled so quick because of their average daily volume. It'll just pop right back and gap fill. So to me, that is a guaranteed trade to the upside. I don't short those. And I usually typically like to get them as close to the offering price, if not 50 cents below. If you get $1 below, that's even better. All right? That's even better. Now, if Wynn came out and said, okay, we're going to do a 25 million offering, okay, now we're talking. That will hurt the stock. Not bad, but it's a little excessive. You want to get what, $22 billion out? What are you using the money for? It makes an investor like me like, why do you need that so much money? Why isn't 400 million enough? What are you doing? Now I'm concerned, and so will other investors. So typically that stock would actually sell off because there are concerns. If they wrote, we're going to take 25 million shares on an open offering at $80 a share and use the money for company operations, I'd be a little skeptical. Well, I probably wouldn't buy that offering. I'd wait for it to pull $5 or $6 more because it concerns me that you're going in with such a big amount. What's going on? Or do I have to wait for the next earnings report to see what you're doing? It concerns me. Okay? So today, as I'm looking through the list, I spot a stock called ZYXI. Right? ZYXI. And I can see it trades pretty much actively every day. And it traded a million shares here, 1.2 million shares there, 1.8 million shares there, 600,000 shares there, 800,000 shares there, 800, 1.1. So it averages about a million shares a day, every single day. All right. So today, and the stock trades, it's an uptrend, and typically stock trades between 25 and 27 a share with a peaking of 29. So today, ZYXI, I don't even know what they do, and I don't really care. Okay. I'm just going through my daily gap up and gap downs, and I noticed that ZYXY was gapping down 4 points. 4 points. It closed at 26.40, and it's sitting at 21.90 in pre-market. And I'm like, why is that down? I had no idea why it was down. I had none. I think I went to my guy Palmer, because I always have to check what he does in the morning. I don't know if I caught it there. Let me double check. He had it this morning. Myrna, Orgo, GS, no, he did not have. Oh, there it is. He had it right here. There it is. The minute so what I do is I go to CNBC and I'm looking and I see ZYXI down 4. And I'm like, oh, wow. At the same token, I flip over to Palmer's feed, which is to me the most valuable feed on Twitter. And I just look, and there it is. And look, he only gets 1 like on it. 1, right? And to me, this is pure cash. This is a guaranteed trade. But so many of you out there that chase penny stocks, that don't understand trading, you have no clue. So you don't really see the value of that particular call. You have actually no idea what he's talking about. Whatever. But a guy like me, a trader like me, sees cash. I saw that, and I knew right then and there I was going to be done at the opening bell in 2 minutes. It was done. Why? Because of the offering. 2.5 million on a stock that averages 1 million shares. This is nothing to a stock like that. And I felt that shorts would squeeze it right at the open, and buyers would also come in and buy the weakness because they're getting the stock that closed at 26.22. They're getting a discount at $22 a share. Why wouldn't you buy it? You're not one that's buying it at 26, 27, and 28. Look at you. You're coming in here on a swing position, and you're buying at 22 because they only needed 2.5 million shares at 26. They only needed $50 million. That showed me that this company just is using this money to even continue their operations and make themselves even better for the next quarter. Okay? So once I knew that, now the setup. Now I come in the chat room and I go, right? And I want you to read what I wrote for everyone, not just AJ, but for everyone. And what does it say? Let's look at it together. Number 2 pick. And now we're the only chat room in the world that will play this. None of even my copycat rooms are. They're out to lunch. They still to this day don't understand offerings. All right, they like to trade the crowded stuff, and then they'll come in here and see, oh, AJ's got JRJC. Let's focus that as our primary. Da 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 da. Right? But this is the uniqueness of ACT chat. So what I did is I came in and I said, gapping down small. Start longing at 22. If it pulls 50 cents, add. This stock, once it hits 22.50, it's going 2 points to 24.50. You will be done in 3 minutes. Done. You won't have to trade for the rest of the day. Okay? You are done. This is the most guaranteed setup and trade. And again, I might not have offerings for another week. But when I see that, I know exactly what the stock's going to do. So what do you do? This was your guaranteed paycheck for everyone in the chat room. If everyone had played this all together, the stock would have ran to 30. It was there. You didn't need to look at Boeing. You didn't need to look at Myrna. If you needed to make 200, 500, 800, 1,000, 12, 15, it was right there. Now, why didn't I make it the number 1 pick? It's kind of hard when I got a 22-point gap up on a former runner. Okay. And I know it's going to come down to $15 after the initial pop. I can't let my short sellers not know. Well, this is a Christmas gift for you. So Merry Christmas to you. I mean, you're going to make 10 points on 3,000 shares. You'll walk away with 30 G's today. But if you don't want to play that and you can't get shorts, then you get the ZYXY, right? And to me, this was the guaranteed play. So now let's do it together, okay? So pre-market, you're loading up. If you have a platform that allows you to trade, okay? Now, TD Ameritrade, IB, and I'll show you the steps that, how you do it. So you would basically put a buy, and obviously this is a demonstration account that I've been using for 8 years, you trolls, okay? So you just do a buy order, right? And you hit the edit button. You put in your 500 shares to start, which is typically what you want to do. You do 500. Then you have to make sure that you do a limit order because it is pre-market, and then you have to do an extend right there. You have to mark that. So, and then it'll already give you kind of a set price, but it's trading on the limit, and then you just execute the trade, and you hit send, and you'll get filled in pre-market. And then at the open, you want to add to that position once it hits the area I'm looking for, which in this case was 22.50. So once it started to pop, again, you come back. All right, now you already own 500 shares at 22, right? So now, and your risk is, what's your risk? 50 cents, a buck? Well, you actually want to add to that. But the key was in this trade is if it broke through 22.50, see this area right here? Look carefully at this area. See right here? You see that topping? I needed to break that. I break 22.50, I rip 2. So my hand was on the trigger. I do it, I'm ready. I go buy, edit, market open, ding, 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 ding. All right, I already own it right around 22 and under, and then boom, I don't need to do anything. I just leave it market, regular trade because it's not the market open. I confirm send, bam, I hit it. Now my average. So let's just say I got filled at 22.64. but I own it at 22, so now I have a 2230,000 shares, right? Or in your case, 200 shares, your case, 400 shares, your case, 80 shares. I don't know what you want to trade. All I know is it's going to rip at the open. And now you get paid. How do you get paid? Now the stock rips. What did I say? 1, 2, right? So it had a fat finger at 2. Now you're not going to get that topping unless you are ready to go. But when it's ripping past your first point, you already want to sell, get your sell ticket ready. So boom, put in your 1,000 shares, right? You want to keep it in a market order, right? Day, confirm send, and you get ready. Ding, 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 ding. Rip, 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 sell, boom. So let's just say you executed the trade and the stock hit, let's say it was up here, but you got filled at 24.26. You made $1,200 in a matter of 3 minutes, and you're done for the day. So what I do is, yes, am I going to trade FVAC and JRJC and Murda short? Yes. But before I do any of those, I want to take the most simplistic, simple, guaranteed, put money in my bank, trade out there. And again, offerings, private placement, or block trades are the most simplest in day trading world you could ever do. You're not really, it takes the guessing and the wondering. Is this stock going to move? Is it going to really pop? When you're with a professional day trader like me, you are going to do very well. You don't need to trade for the rest of the day. You can enjoy your family, your children, your dogs. You're done. You hit your goal. You could have done 100 shares, made 2 points, and made $200, and you're done. That's the kind of trade this setup was set for. After that, once it hit my 2 points or more, you're done for the day. Okay? So this webinar I wanted to do openly was just to let you know, as a day trader, this kind of room, we find these things. All right? We can read through the news. We can anticipate what the stocks are going to do before they even open, before they even start running. We can tell how to, we can look at the market and go, this is how the market's going to react to the news that was given, you know? And this will give you a direction how to trade your stocks. So this way, you're not sizing in where you shouldn't be. Um, you know, even when you're, let's just take a Netflix trade, for instance, a simple Netflix trade. And let's just say you're trading on the long side and you get buckled over and it pulls on you, right? And you lose. Whenever I lose on trades like this, whether it's Royal Caribbean or, I'm chasing a stock, I'm trying to short it against it, it's not working. I just wait for the setup and the breakouts. And that's really, I just stop and go, okay, take a deep breath, wait for the breakout, long it. And I was red on Royal Caribbean, and I was red because I chased it here and it pulled, as you can see. I was down like $600 on this trade on Netflix. But I waited, I went long, I announced it, I popped it with 150 shares and then 100 shares a second time. And I went from down, I think it was 600 to positive $45. And then in this trade on Royal, I was down considerably, and I got it all back because I said, you know what? I'm fighting it. It's not going to break. And once you realize, like, stop fighting it, it's not breaking. It's not going to do what you want to do. Reverse it and go long. So I just waited. I missed this entire push here. So I had to wait for this breakout here off the flag. And I always do that. I isolate these breakouts, and then we just run it. And one last thing that we did today, and I believe it was from Maryland in our chat room today. Gene was a stock that was running today on COVID-19 news. And Gene is typically a stock that pops. Shorts will pile in. They'll squeeze it higher. They'll pile in more. They'll squeeze it higher. Why? Because Gene cannot hold their gains. They're not built for that. Gene loves to dump everything. It's just what they do, and then they'll do an offering. And I've never been a fan of Gene, but today you couldn't ignore Gene. Gene was just breaking out, and these are breakouts right here. This is where you're a buyer in our room. You're buying here at 334. You're buying here at 380. You're buying here at 430. You're buying here on this breakout here at 7. You're buying here at 834. And what was beautiful was during this whole thing right here, Darkside was on the mic, and he was just telling this has room to 10. 10:20 or 10:30, and then that's it. I mean, I heard that and I went, okay. And I followed him along the way. Now, Marianne spotted this early for us at $4.30. And right around right here, she asked, could I long Gene? Like the volume, I noticed the candles were 1, 2, 1, 1, 600, million, 3. And I thought, you know what, we got some serious volume. This will go higher. So I did not like the stock, but you can't ignore the volume 6. So I told Marianne and the room, I said, you know, I'm more comfortable at 430 because she wanted to long it around 430. I said I would just put my risk at 380. If it breaks that flag, it'll fall. And so she went long around the 435 area, and she got herself a point. Well, the X stock just kept running and running and running and running. So hats off. And that's what I love to do is when a trader introduces a trade to me in the room, you know, I may not like the Gene because I know what it does. Because in the end, you know, some traders, they get in, they're like, oh, you know what, I'm going to hold Gene, you know, until it hits 25 because, you know, they could. I'm like, you don't know Gene, dude. And so you have to be careful because you're trying to teach traders, don't hold on to stuff like this. This is a day trade. You're trading the momentum for the day. You'll see in 2 or 3 days later, this stock will come right back down to earth and fill all this gap, and look where it trades. It'll end up at 550, do an offering, hit 4, and sell off, and then you won't hear about them again. Okay? You cannot marry these stocks. Remember that. And you know, it's a hit and run. You hit it and you get out. Market order in, market order out. For you short sellers, it's a party for you. Because look at the history of Gene, right? So put up a 1-year chart. All right, you've already exceeded a year. Now go up a 3-year chart, and you've already exceeded all the things. So this is just overextended. So short sellers know that. They look at the news, they laugh just like we do, and what do? They just go in there with size, short it. Look at a short seller here on this particular trade. Look at these short sellers building positions. Like, even though you think they're buyers, this is a short sellers. They're building. Look at these positions: 2 million, 2.7, 1.1, 1.1, 1 point. Now they might be down $2-3 million as it keeps running, but they're adding, right? And now look, who's got the last laugh now? Let's just say this short seller came in at $8. All right, he put in 2 million shares, and he's at 8. He's down 4 million, but he's got a $50-60 million account. So to him, this is nothing. Now look at it. His 2 million is now worth 4 million on the downside. He made $4 million today. And who knows if he didn't add up here another million more with a nice average. Now take that and make it more proportional to you. So you do 500 shares. You add 250. You add another 250. Now you have 1,000 shares at 950 average. You have $3,000 in your bank account because you know that Gene likes to dump. Okay? Let's say you don't want to short, you just want to play the long. Then just buy the breakouts and take advantage of them. Every time they break out, take size, rip it, get out. Curl around, rip it, get out. Curl around, rip it, get out. You don't hold the stock because you know the history of the stock. And if you don't know, look at it for a 3-year history. And notice every time the stock pops, it drops. Pops, it drops. Pops, it drops. Pops, it drops. What do you think this is going to do? Pop and run? Okay? Think. Always take a moment and look at the history of the stock. All right? That's what I do. 16 years. I knew Gene was going to do this as it was running. And so did the great dark side. He was just looking at it like, listen, this is going to do this. It's going to have one more pop in it. Shorts are going to get in there. They're going to pile in, and then it'll be over. And then a trader will go in the room. I heard him. Trader goes, should I swing this to 20? He was just quiet. No, you do not swing this stock. the end of the day, the supply hit about $5, $6 a share. The trader doesn't see that, but that's what a room is for that guidance to help you. And if you don't know, that's when we have to stop and explain it to you so you understand, so you don't get caught in losing money. And we don't want you to be buying, adding, buying, adding, buying. What was at 10, so now it's at 6. This is a discount, right? No. Stock is just going to sell off. And then all of a sudden, I mean, look how many shares they did today. Pull up a 1-year chart. Look how many shares they did today. What is it? 356 million shares. They can pull out 70 million shares after hours at 5, put 350 million in their bank, and they're done. Just because they said, and what was the news on it? What was the news? COVID-19 related. Aren't they gene therapy? But because they put the word COVID in, they get a paycheck. This is the world we live in. All right. Anyway, that is today's free lesson on YouTube. I hope you enjoyed it. Probably won't do one for another week. Hope you listen to this over and over and over. And I hope you learned something from it. Okay? If you want to be part of our amazing chat room, just click any act link, scroll down, and boom, this is our website, and you just go down, sign up, and you're a part of the room. Listen to our webinars. I highly recommend getting Secret Sauce. It's an extra $50. When you sign up, it'll ask you if you want it. There's sessions it'll cost you a little bit more, $50, but there's so much you're learning that I really pour out my heart so you can just keep learning and learning and learning and learning. And if you want to sign up for 6 months, 2 years, or an annual, it's right there. And it's amazing. It was an amazing day today. So thank you for being part of Awesome Calls. Thank you for listening to this great webinar, and I look forward to trading with you tomorrow.